Something that all Garmin Nuvi, Garmin Drive, and Garmin DriveSmart models, including this Garmin DriveSmart 66, do is give two versions of distance. One that is straight line, and the other one which is actual, or should I say routed. I'll give you an example of what I mean. So if I look up, what I did is I tapped a little vehicle icon there. Go to fuel. Okay, so we see a list of fuel stations here. Okay, fine. And they all have a distance. And I'll just go to this one right here. Is it 2 miles away? Well, if I go to the info, no. It's 3.3 miles away. Well, why is that? Is it lying to me? No. All of these distances that are shown here are unrouted, straight line. And what I mean by that is that if I go to navigation and calculation mode, I have straight line and faster time. Straight line means unrouted, meaning as the crow flies, which is an actual real term. Just straight line A to B. That's why it's called straight line. If you were to take a paper map and draw a straight line from one point to the other point, that obviously does not include any turns whatsoever. It is just straight A to B, whereas this one accommodates for turns and all this other stuff, which will increase the distance. So when you see a list like this, these are all straight line. All of them, every single one of them. And you don't get the actual distance until you pick one. So this one says 2.1 mile. Calculates. It's actually 4.6. Ooh, significantly different. Now again, all Garmin's do this. This is how it's, well, what's the advantage of it? Why does it show this? Why doesn't it give me the true distance in a list? Because it would have to calculate every single one of them in order to do that. So in order to give you the information fast, that's why it does that. Because when you find this out at first, you get disappointed. You're like, I want the true distance for everything. Well, if you'd be waiting at least a good minute or two. Okay, well, I'll give you an example. If it was just 1, 2, 3, 4 of these, it would have to calculate three. Now, granted, these are all close, but you'd still have to wait something like 20, 30 seconds for the list to even display. Whereas if you just do this the way it is now, it's near instant. That's the difference. There's less waiting. It's far less waiting. That's why it does what it does. So this one right here, it says it's 3 miles, but it's actually 3.1. So one of them went from 2 to 4, and the other one goes from 3 to 3.1 because there's less turns to go here. But let's go to the one right below it. Is it also 3.1? Oh, it is. Is this one 3.1? No, 5.4. Sorry, I hit my little camera stand there. Is there any way around this? No, there isn't. It's just, yeah, it's the way it is. You would think that doing the same thing on Google Maps would give you, let's just say, more accurate representation. Not really. Because if you get a list of locations even on Google Maps, it shows you an estimate until you actually pick a location and have it calculate a route. Will it give you the true distance from where you are to that place. So ultimately, you can't win. Just say it straight up. You can't win. For anything that you see here, if you want a more accurate representation of a far more accurate representation, you have to go to the information part and let it calculate the route, and then 4.6 mile versus 3.2, then it will give you the accurate representation. And also, I should note, this is based on your settings for your navigation. So if I was not avoiding U-turns and I was allowing tolls and fees for places with some further distance to them, then the actual distance would change. And it would reflect that when I go to a list of POIs like this. Now, the last thing I'll say is, it's not just for this category. It's for any category. Anytime you see a list, including your favorites list, including your recent visited locations list. Oh, yes. So if I, for example, go to categories, and let's just pick one here. Attractions, that's a good one. Yeah, all. Okay. So we'll just go down the list here. Pick something at least a couple miles away. So it says Beavers Bend Park. That looks good. 2.1 mile. And it's actually 3.3. So again, doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter what the list is. You're going to get, it's going to be different when it's routed versus unrouted, or straight line versus calculated or routed. It doesn't matter what you call it. It doesn't, honestly. And I'll say again, even if you're using a smartphone, it will do the same thing. Same thing. It will show a list of guesstimates, or as the crow flies, but when you actually calculate the route, yeah. Let's pick one. Actually, let's do it this way. We'll do major attractions, because those have... There we go. Okay, this one says 31 miles. And it is actually 38. So 7-mile difference on that one. It's significant. So when you are doing route planning, yes, you should look at this, so you really have a way better idea of how much actual distance is going to take. And notice time. So you not only get the actual distance, but you get the much better, because you'll notice it doesn't show the time for travel here. You actually have to go to information to get that information. So you're going to be 38 mile, about 38 mile, about 40 minute. And there is no Garmin model that doesn't do this. And there is no app that doesn't do this either. So it's just the way it is.